Working on today's show.
Do that again.
I'm Brent.
Do that again. Hello and welcome to Metra AV Tech Tips. I'm Adam.
I'm Brent.
This is Brent. Now, pardon me for that. I apologize.
I have
too
to
busy.
ask what just happened.
I was busy drawing and getting
Forgot to hit the go
doing
button?
art, and I forgot to hit the go button. So
we're 2 seconds late.
well, no, we're in. They saw you speaking, but they could not hear you
Oh,
speaking. Which let me know if that's how we should continue to do the videos.
So we should just
Mime everything. Well, what I can do is I can mute your microphone, and I can just talk as you go off screen on that one. So granted, however, we have learned that your voice does pick up on my microphone, so I don't think it would do us any good. Okay, you're having too much fun. Welcome everybody to today's episode. We have.
Is it mimed?
It's not mimed. This is a full audio experience. This is not just a
in full color from the looks of your drawing.
And well, it's in black and white at the moment. So
No. I see color there.
okay, you see color there. Okay, so anyways, what we have going on today is a little interesting. In that I have prepared an episode that I have given you no preparation for. Now, I've done this in the past. However, minutes before the episode starts, I gave you some kind of information. However, today, I have given you almost zero information.
Okay.
Yes.
So is this just been Brent over day?
Pretty much, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so
Okay.
here's what we have going on today. So first and foremost, everybody, thank you for checking in with today's episode.
And just for what it's worth, I haven't looked at any of the promo material.
Yeah,
so.
of course, yeah. So everyone who is checking in with today's episode, thank you so much. As always, if you have questions about whatever it is that we are talking about today, or specifically for today, if we have some input as to what it is that we're talking about, please feel free to leave it over in the chat section over there. Or if you are watching this after the fact, you can leave it down in the comment section below. We do monitor those comments and we do reply to them as quickly as we possibly can.
By the way, show them the Metra AV hat, and let them know that it is available.
Yeah, Metra AV hat is available. We also have some tech tips gear as well. So definitely check those out as well. You can go online and order some of those for you as well. Just go to our website or reach out to your sales rep. They have access to our team shop stuff that we have. And
which has got some awesome stuff.
Yeah, they can also potentially help you with some of your advertising and help you get a shop set up for
with
yourself.
With your custom logo for your place.
That's right. Now, we still have the competition going on where we have done a deal with True Audio.
Yes.
And the way that works, let me find the information for it here.
This is the racking contest for the beauty of the rack.
Yeah. So we are looking at, let's pull up the Instagram here for it. So basically the way this works out is you will go on and make a post or show us a picture. You want to put the
hashtag address down?
Yep. Take a picture of any of the racks that you have done up. We want to see some interesting locations for the racks. We also want to see a well-dressed rack, one that you've taken a lot of extra time to go ahead and get all set up and everything. I'm pointing in one direction or another. Get it all dressed up. Don't make it look like this one. Make it look like one that you've actually taken time and done correctly.
That you have pride in.
Yeah. And so go ahead.
And if you want to do a before, before and after.
Yep.
If you're coming in behind somebody else's work, the rack disasters kind of thing.
That would be wonderful. Yeah, give us a before and after.
Because I've seen some disastrous racks.
Yeah. No, it
particularly from guys that cut wires short.
I don't know what you're talking about. So it's show us your AV rack. It's hashtag show us your AV rack. The way that works is you're going to want to track down both us here at Metra AV. As well as the guys over at True Audio. They get you the information for that here really quick. It's going to be at True Audio.
It's a squeaky pen today.
It is a squeaky pen today. I think I'm pushing down on it a little much. And then it's at Metra AV. Like that. So you're gonna follow at True Audio Speakers and at Metra AV. Also, while you're there, go ahead and follow us here at at AV Tech Tips. That's Brent and I here, so we can go ahead and be a part of that as well. But the way you do that, take a picture of the rack that you want to enter for the competition. Show us your AV rack. And the way that it works out is we will be running this through the end of October, so October 31st. We have a total of $3,200 worth of retail equipment, or retail priced equipment to give away. It's going to be one of True Audio's Forge racks. I think it's the 32U unit that they have.
I believe it was 32.
It's either 32 or 28, one of the two. It's on Instagram. Find the post on Instagram. It's on Metra AV's Instagram as well as True Audio Speakers Instagram as well. It's got all the information on it there. So the way that it works is just take a picture of a rack that you're really proud of, put it up there, hashtag show us your AV rack, and we will go through, find the best one, and the winner will win all that equipment.
Both companies get together, we hash it out and determine who's got the best looking AV rack.
Yeah.
And they win both stuff from True Audio and us.
Yeah. Yep.
By the way, don't forget, go through your subscribe, ring the bell, and all that sort of stuff.
Oh, yeah. Like, share, subscribe, hit the little bell notification to let you know whenever we do go live, which, of course, is every Wednesday for AV Tech Tips and Friday
at what
for
time?
AV Tech Tip Solution at 3 p.m.
And you've got some new videos popping up soon, I saw.
Yeah, I believe so. We just went into the studio and did some more videos, so those should be popping up here
I saw those happening. They look good.
Yeah, yeah. So we're looking forward to that. So today's episode, and actually, do you have the eraser? There it is, all the way over there. Give me that one.
That one doesn't work.
It works great. Anyways, so the idea for today's episode is this. We're talking about multi-resolution systems. It's a how-to, all right? So the way that this is going to play out is you have multi-resolution sources and you have multi-resolution displays.
So you took the time to do all of this and shared none of it with me.
I gave you no information. Yep, it's going to be absolutely wonderful. I'm really looking forward to this. So,
how big is the bus you're driving over me today?
Oh, it's not too bad, actually. This will be good fun. So, everyone who's following along with today's episode, look over in the description. So go down below into the description, and I gave you some homework. Now, if you've already gone in there and looked at it and you designed a system yourself, feel free to go ahead and let me know what your system design was over in the chat or down in the comments. Or, of course, you can email me directly if you want, or give us a call and we'll talk about it. But what I've done is I have created a client for us. Okay, I've kind of created a little bit of a thing going on, so I'm going to finish drawing this out. And actually, if you'll give me a top-down shot, we can do this at the same time with everything here. There we go.
Ooh, look at that PIP.
There we are. Hey, everybody. Okay, so we have an LG TV that's an 8K, and that's going to be in the family room.
Is this the LG 128K?
Yes, it is. So this is the same one that we had here with us that unfortunately.
Does this one work?
Yeah, this one works.
Okay.
Yeah.
Just checking.
Yep. We're going to assume that we're going to make some assumptions. We're going to assume that all of the equipment that we're putting in here works in its intended fashion.
Okay.
We're going to go with that. In the parent suite, we have a 4K Sony. In bedroom 1, we have a 4K Samsung with a One Connect. I'm not going to go into too much detail, specifics about
By
stuff
the way,
like that.
just on that, I was on a job site yesterday. We had the 32-inch One Connect.
Oh, yeah.
It does not have a hardwired Ethernet connection on the One Connect box.
Really?
Yeah, it's exactly what I said, but it doesn't.
Okay.
You can Wi-Fi interface it, but it's not a hard connect.
Okay. So in bedroom 2, we have a 1080p Samsung. Okay, we're going to call that one like 4 or 5 years old. It's an LED backlit display, 1080p, super basic, really straightforward. Now, for our sources, we have a new Apple TV.
With the 2.1 chip in it.
Correct.
In theory.
Correct. We have a Roku Ultra.
Okay, 4K HDR.
Ultra. I don't know why the Apple TV is so big over there, but it is. We have an Oppo Blu-ray player.
Oh, you're just trying to confuse the issue now, aren't you?
Oh, man,
this is a 3-year-old machine already.
Yep, exactly. We have 3, count them 3, DirecTV Genies, right?
By the way, I learned this week that DirecTV now has a streaming box.
Yes, they do.
Which actually shows the channel numbers. If any of you guys have done this box, I'm looking at it for some of my jobs.
Yeah.
Because it resolves some issues. Please share with us your experiences with these boxes.
Yeah.
How long does it take to change channels?
Yeah.
Are they reliable? How do they compare picture quality wise?
Specifically, when you first switch
to a
over
standard
to them,
DirecTV, yes.
Yeah, when you first switch over to them as a source, do they automatically show the DirecTV channels, or because I know it's a streaming box, so as
or
Netflix
does it open
and
up into
else,
a menu?
Yeah, does it open up to a menu, or can you set it to where it just automatically is just the channels? I'm really curious about that myself.
Yeah, because I think both of us could use these in jobs, and they could solve some problems if they work correctly.
Correct.
and I have no personal first-hand experience yet.
And because, of course, we do these shows, and because we are a manufacturer as well, we're going to choose Spyclops 4K camera systems. We'll call this just an NVR.
Okay, so we have got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 sources.
Yes.
And 4 displays.
Yes. Now,
and one of them is an 8K. Now, are there any AVRs in this?
We're gonna make it fairly straightforward. We're gonna go with no.
Okay, so there's no home theater.
No. So we do have, let's say, a sound bar here in the family room.
Okay.
And let's say here in the parent suite, we also have a sound bar, but in bedroom 1 and bedroom 2, there is no sound bar.
Okay.
Okay. Now, I'm going to throw a kink in this one. The sound bar in the parent suite uses ARC audio.
Okay.
Okay. All right. So, here's today's topic. Today's topic is really about the idea of how do you take multi-resolution sources and use them in a multi-resolution display system.
Well, now, and here's where it gets even kinkier. I would not do the project the way you're suggesting it.
Well, and that's just it. So that's where I wanted to take this, and I wanted to see what, one, I want to see where you would take it. I'm going to describe my way of doing it. I'm going to actually have 2 ideas for this system. And then I also want to get ideas from everyone who's watching how they would do it, whether or not they would do it your way, my way, the second way that I have.
I would treat this as a hybrid system.
I like it.
And can I start?
Yeah,
May
go for it.
I step into the middle?
Yep, you've got the markers.
Here's why I would treat this as a hybrid system.
Yep.
To me, both of these are localized. In fact, this can be built into this because there's the Apple TV app already in the Roku.
Correct. Yeah.
So with the Apple TV app, you honestly don't need the Apple TV.
Ooh, yeah, you're forgetting a game, though that is typically connected locally. Okay, back up.
Okay, hold on.
You're Michael, I like the way you think. We're going to make it even more difficult. We are going to put in an Xbox Series X specifically. Okay? We're also going to throw in here a PlayStation 4, not a PlayStation 5, PlayStation 4, right? So we're going to have a PS4.
Now, let me ask you a question. Where are the games? Obviously, they're going to be in the family room because the parents aren't going to be playing them.
Well, so that's just it. You are interviewing the client, and you're finding this information out. Let's talk about that.
Okay. All right, we're kind of back to where I was at the beginning. So,
Michael, I agree with you in that in the majority of jobs that you would run into something better than a soundbar, something like an AVR of some kind. However, what I have run into also is that a lot of people either don't already have a surround system set up, or they honestly just don't care. So in this case, I'm going to run with a soundbar because the soundbar. You know what? How difficult do we want to make this, Brent?
I have no clue.
Run it with this, and then we're going to add in, or we'll throw in some kinks along the way. You want to describe what you're doing along the way?
I will. Okay. First off, purely from a controlling the gaming standpoint, and audio and everything syncing up, you're not going to distribute the games.
Yes.
It's not. You can't.
In most cases, yes, correct.
So they're going to be local to the family room, in my opinion, particularly because this is an 8K 120.
Yeah.
Which this really looks awesome on.
Yeah.
And I'm not a gamer, but I was blown away by how good that looked on that.
Yes.
So.
Well, we had it here. We were actually getting it set up here.
Yes, ours is back there.
I mean, well, the Xbox is anyways.
To me, the Apple TV is simply an app on a Roku Ultra.
Okay.
So the Apple TV goes away.
Okay.
I don't need it.
Okay.
As an integrator. Now, and you and I have fought this out because the Apple TV does offer a few things, but the problem with doing an Apple TV is unless everybody has their own, then you start fighting over who's got control.
We run into that, yes. Now, one of the things that we could run into also is I don't believe, what was it, HBO Max, I don't believe is on Roku, or one or the
Yes, it is.
one or the other. There's an app that's on
They're on
Apple, but it's not on.
No, they're all cross-platform now.
Well, most are anyways.
I haven't found one that isn't, to my knowledge, yet. So, and then in that case, whoever's watching that app, I would put it local to that.
So now the RU that you've written on
Roku
there.
Ultra.
Okay, so you're now actually purchasing additional Roku Ultras.
Right, and how much are
to
they?
what they have? About $100.
For the Ultra.
Yeah.
And it's a great, don't buy the $39 ones.
Yeah.
Because I've had lockup issues on those.
Yeah.
So, what we really come down to for distribution is these products.
Yes.
And at this point, we have 5 of these products. Now, these products to me are shared products.
Yep.
The Spy Clops you want to be able to see pretty much anywhere. You may have a kitchen TV, a bedroom, whatever.
Yep.
The Direct TVs, now, and I do a fair amount of jobs with multiple satellite receivers in a matrix.
Yes.
So typically what I'll do is if I have 3 of those, I will have the master suite and the family room be able to see all 3.
Yes.
And then I may have a single machine dedicated so the bedroom 1 can see machine 1, the bedroom 2 can see machine 2.
Yes.
It's just simple.
Yeah.
Still through the matrix, but simple, but the master suite and the parents and the family room can see any of the machines.
Yep.
Because you don't want the kids taking over the machines from the parents.
But if the parents need additional machines for themselves for whatever
Right.
reason,
Or they want to
can
check
take
on what the
over.
kids are watching.
Yeah. Yep. I agree with that. Now, how are you getting it there?
Well, now we're to a matrix.
Yep.
And certainly with Metra AV products, we can do multi-resolution outputs on the matrices. So we can deal with the different resolutions. Now, let's be honest, with the Ultra, this is 4K HDR.
Yep.
But that's really that's going to go to 3 of the 4 sets.
Okay.
Probably bedroom number 2 if it's got a 1080p.
That's another thing. I'm sorry. The 4K Samsung is non-HDR.
Okay. So it's first gen.
I did miss that, yes.
First gen. First gen. Okay. Here's the thing. The Oppo Blu-ray player is going to come down to, in my opinion, the family room and the parent suite.
Yeah.
You're not going to really worry about putting a disc in for the guest room, which is probably bedroom number 2 with a 1080p set.
Yes. Yeah.
It's a 1080p set. Who cares? Maybe bedroom 1. And you can strip the HDR off with the variety of splitters or inside of the matrix.
Sure.
So this will be going into the matrix. We'll wind up going to those 3 out of the matrix.
Okay.
I wouldn't even worry about that one because, again, it's a guest room.
Okay.
Now, kind of where we are with these. So DirecTV.
Now remember, you have 3 boxes of
Right.
DirecTV.
1, 2, and 3 go to both of these TVs.
Okay.
Because both of those, parents' room, main room. However, satellite 1 goes here. Satellite 2 goes here, dedicated to those zones, is how I typically set my systems up.
Okay.
Because these are the kids' rooms, the guest rooms, whatever, and you do not want them taking over everything.
Sure.
Because they will.
Sure.
For example, the house out in LA, and you've been there.
Yeah.
I've got 6 satellite receivers.
Yep.
The great room, the master suite, and the den all can see any satellite receiver. The blue, yellow, green, and guest rooms each have a dedicated satellite receiver via the matrix.
Yes.
So they can pick their programs and they only control their dedicated satellite receiver. But the great room, the den, and the master bedroom can control and see any of them.
Right.
Because that's the privilege of being the captain. When it's your house, you're the owner, you're the boss, you watch whatever you want to watch.
Yeah.
Everybody else is relegated.
Sure.
Now, by doing it this way, we can now deal with the resolutions correctly.
Yep.
We can typically deal with control well.
Now your Spy Clops in VR, that's a 4K in VR. What
That's
are you doing
in
with
my
that?
opinion, that's going to go to the 3.
The 3?
Because you may have an older kid that's home by themselves.
Okay.
The guest house, the guest room,
Sure.
not really worried about it.
Yeah, guest room doesn't need to have access to the
Right.
NVR to see the cameras. Yeah.
Right, but the Spy Clops, in my opinion, at that point,
Yes, they do, Michael.
the Spy Clops will go everywhere
Under the
under the matrix.
Under the 2.0 specification, we don't have a 2.1 matrix as of yet. Answering questions. Yeah. Okay.
This is my version of this.
Okay.
And my version of this is based on simplification because I'm not going to be able to put these through any matrix yet.
Sure.
Really, okay, this one, yeah, but you can't game You can't game through a matrix.
Right. You have distance problems that you have to deal with here.
On the control side.
Yes, correct.
And then we've got the 8K side here, particularly with the 120. Even if you have another 8K set, that doesn't mean it's 120, as we know.
Yeah, correct. Well, and that's something that we learned with that one. So the LG set that we had here is not only an 8K 60, but it's also a 4K 120.
Right.
And that's what the Xbox is going to be playing at is 4K 120.
So to me, this is localized to here, family area.
Yep. So I like the way that you've done this, and this is actually very similar to where I was going to be taking it. There's a few changes that I would make on my end, mostly in that the Spyclops in VR, I would still have it on all four because there's a kink that I'm throwing into this along the way. You ready for this one? Actually, better yet, I got a better idea.
You scare me.
I'm going to throw two big kinks into this system. Okay? Kink number one is that this is no longer bedroom 2. This is now grandma. Okay?
Okay.
And I'm going to throw in the family room. We're going to go ahead and actually, let me back up here. This 4K Sony, pretty straightforward audio return from the Sony to the soundbar with the ARC, right? Because we're going to assume that this 4K Sony has an ARC output on it.
Yeah,
so
well,
you're
if
just
it's
using
4K
that directly
Sony, it's going to have an ARC.
Correct, yeah. And in fact, we'll say that was an eARC soundbar. Right. So 4K Sony, eARC capability back to the soundbar. That one's pretty simple because all you're doing is just going out of the 4K Sony into the eARC connection on the soundbar. Or out the eARC connection on the Sony. Now, so kink number one is that's grandma. Okay? Kink number
that really
two,
doesn't change.
I'm not done yet. We're going to go ahead and get rid of this sound bar. We are going to put in a surround sound system. It's just a it's a 5.1.4 Atmos. Okay. Surround. I'm not going to get into brands or anything on that one, but it's a 5.1.4. Then we're going to go back here to grandma. Now, grandma wants the Oppo Blu-ray player because she is only familiar with the Oppo interface, but no one else wants to give up the Oppo. And eBay's not real, we're going to call that. So you can't go out and buy a used Oppo Blu-ray player.
Well, even if you wanted to. they're more expensive used than they were new.
Exactly. So, with that said...
Okay, this is an easy one. You give grandma the Oppo, you buy a Panasonic to share with the other rooms.
But same issue that grandma has where she's only familiar with the Oppo interface. The family is also sold on the fact that Oppo is an amazing Blu-ray player, and they only want to stick with that brand. Listen, these are real things that we have to deal with as integrators. Everyone out there in the field, you can attest to this. You've had these clients before where they say, I want Oppo, that's it. And when they say, I want Oppo, they want Oppo retail what it was 5 years ago when they were still being made.
I have not had that customer.
Okay, maybe not Oppo directly. However,
so
it is possible to do this, by the way.
Oh, absolutely it is. I'm questioning the validity of your argument, but
arguments aside, this is what what
okay.
you have
So we do have to give grandma the Spyclops.
Yep.
I would agree with that.
Yep.
We do have to give grandma DirecTV because it's got the game show channel on it.
You also only have Metra AV products to work with.
Okay.
Okay.
So are you expecting me to remember part numbers now?
No.
That's good.
You go ahead and design it. I'll fill in the part numbers.
Stuart knows all the part numbers.
Hey, Stuart.
Stuart knows all the part numbers. I call Stuart up. Stuart, I need a part number for, oh yeah, that's the blah, 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 blah. So don't you know this? It's like, no, I don't. Okay, well that really doesn't change my plan, honestly.
Okay.
I still have to keep these local.
Oh, also they definitely want Atmos in the family room because of course they have an Atmos system.
Again, that still doesn't change my plan.
Doesn't it? You sure?
Well, okay, so not really. Where do you see the changes?
Mostly your Atmos setup. Because as soon as you have, you put in the Oppo Blu-ray player with an Atmos disc through the Matrix and you're sending it over to other audio sources that do not accept Atmos, you now force the Matrix to downscale it.
So am I going to be watching the Atmos? Am I going to be watching the Oppo on multiple displays at the same time? Probably not, because they're not all going to watch the same movie. If they are, they're all going to go to the family room.
Pretty much.
So it's all about EDID.
Yeah. Yeah.
So if the only thing that's connected,
what was that? What was that? What was the test that Captain Kirk and
the Kobayashi Maru?
The Kobayashi Maru. You are not winning.
It's a no-win situation.
It's a no-win
And
situation.
To quote Chris Pine as Captain Kirk, I don't believe in a no-win situation.
So your no-win situation is that you have to give something up in this situation, because yes, if everyone wants to watch the Oppo Blu-ray player at the same time, you have to give up something. You either give up
EDID's going to determine that.
Well, you either give up everything, or you either give up watching it everywhere and limit it down to one location, or you give up Atmos.
When the other sets are on.
Correct. Correct.
When the other sets are on.
Yes,
now,
correct.
Let's be honest. If you're watching the same Blu-ray player with the same movie on multiple TVs at the same time.
So now let's say this. Let's say we work with that, and we work with the fact that we still want to be able to watch the Oppo on all of the on all screens. However, we give up the Atmos. Let's say, for instance, this is no longer a 5.1.4. It is only a 5.1. Okay?
When I'm watching on Grandma's TV.
Well, it's we're just going to say they don't have the speakers for Atmos. We're not going to use Atmos.
Okay.
But, and I know that Atmos in a normal surround sound
system, right out of the gate,
is still great, but
one of these is a Samsung, which doesn't like to see Dolby Digital in on most TVs over the HDMI anyway.
Correct.
So we have to do down conversion inside of the matrix.
So we're still in a bad spot, aren't we?
We certainly can be.
Yeah, because our matrices do not have the ability to down mix the audio. Our matrices don't have that capability. So you're still in a bad situation because of the fact that we still have 5.1 and we have a Samsung that potentially doesn't allow Dolby Surround. There are some sets that we have run into in tech support and in tech support calls where they don't have the Dolby licensing or whatever it is.
No, they're not willing to pay for it in that margin of a product.
Potentially, without getting into the debate about what it was, they don't use the Dolby audio. They'll send back an EDID information saying, nope, don't send me Dolby audio, send me PCM.
PCM2 channel.
Yep, either PCM2 channel or the multi-channel that's open. What is that, LPCM? No. What is that called? My mind went blank for a second. Anyways, so the point is that with that setup, you still have a problem. You still run into
but that's only when this TV is turned on.
Correct. Yep.
And look, has always been the issue with HDMI.
Yeah. So to take Michael and Gab's decision, or their ruling on this, anyways, Michael's is a little bit more pleasant, I guess. Gabs just says shoot grandma. Michael is saying.
See, that's the kind of answer that got me in trouble last week.
So Michael is saying, how much will you offer me for my Oppo 203? Grandma doesn't need an Oppo.
Honestly, you buy Grandma a new TV.
Yeah.
I mean, TVs are cheap.
She's on a 1080p Samsung, and
she shouldn't be.
At that point, 4K TVs right now, you can pick one up for under $500.
65-inch.
Yeah. And for a 1080p display, you're probably at 50 or under for 50 inches or under on the size.
Yeah,
more than likely. So yeah, I'm at this point. The Kobayashi Maru answer for all of this is that you're not getting all of this.
Actually get rid of both of these and update them to something that's reasonable. Because look, if you're putting in a matrix,
yeah. So there's one final thing that we can do. So one final thing that we can do. We can go in here and we can say, okay.
Tell them they're not watching the Oppo?
Let's do this. We're going to keep the Xbox and the PS4 going to the family room TV because that just makes sense, right? Have the Xbox and the PlayStation 4 going there. There you go, Mammoth. That's where we were heading with it. He says, buy Grandma a new TV.
Yeah.
So
actually, get rid of the Samsung too. Get something that's full HDR.
The 4K. Yeah, this one is a
first gen.
First gen, so no HDR capabilities on that one, but. These two here, you run into they're basically the same level, right? They're, for all intents and purposes.
Yeah, they're both 1.4 TVs.
Yeah. So, the way that this plays out, and I'm going to put the Roku and the Apple TV back in here. Apple TV, and Roku. Okay, no, this is the Ultra.
Now, see,
this is new.
the only advantage of having that at distribution is the ability to start a show in one room and have it follow you to another room while somebody's still in the main room watching it.
I'll give you that. And in fact, I will agree with you on that. I'm going to keep the new Apple TV on the Matrix.
Okay.
Because in the off chance that there was something that the new Apple TV has that something that like the Roku doesn't have, and more in most intents and purposes, the Roku Ultra will have pretty much everything that anyone's going to watch. It's got the big guys anyways. And it even has the Apple TV app on it.
Yes, it does,
right?
as I said.
Yeah.
And the DirecTV without the channel numbers.
And actually, what Gabs had said earlier is that, let's see, put it in here, there are audio stream benefits from the Apple TV box. Also, if you use Homebridge, it can be used as a Homebridge server. So I'm not familiar with the...
I don't know anybody that's using Homebridge.
Honestly, well, here's the thing. If you are using it, it's there and available for that. But the point is that with the Apple TV... I'm not familiar enough with the Apple ecosystem. I'm an Android and a Windows user, so I don't know enough about it. I'm the communist. You're the one who's rolling in with everyone else. I'm the one who's trying to be different over here.
Yeah, which is exactly the communist mantra. You're a communist.
I mean, in reality, what's happening is that you're the more of the communist because you're doing the same thing as everyone else, and everyone's a part of the same ecosystem. Whereas, anyways, moving on. Point is.
And I do think the Apple TV has a better audio section.
In the event that you need the Apple TV for that purpose, it will still be available as part of the Matrix. Now, what I'm going to say is that we're going to leave the 1080p Samsung. We're going to leave the HDR Samsung.
Why?
Hear me out. We got the 4K Sony in the parent suite, and we got the LG 8K. That is true. Now, there are some... Michael Heiss made a good point that many of the under 32-inch sets used in like kitchens and office locations are only 720p. Another thing to be mindful of is that there are some 720p panels that accept 1080p that can actually screw with your EDID information and signal information.
And the picture's not that good.
Well, yeah, you run into so many problems.
Always stay native.
Yeah, so many wrinkles with this one. Let's see.
I come back to...
Yeah. Hold on. Hear me out. I'm going to run with this, okay? So, we're going to use one of our matrices. We're going to use a, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, let's see. We're going to use our 8x8 matrix.
It's a very small matrix.
Okay, it is very small, but you get the idea, right? So we have our sources going into it. Where's right in front of me. So, you've already got blue up there running for that one, so we'll continue to use blue here. So the Apple TV goes in, the Oppo goes in, all 3 DirecTVs go in, and then our SpyClops also goes in. So I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I have 6 different sources going into this 8x8, which means that I have room for expansion. I have 2 more openings for inputs if I want to use them in the future. Now, I'm going to go out of the 8x8, and I'm going to go into each one of our displays, like so. Really straightforward, right? Very nice centralized system. No bells, whistles, or anything else that has to go super crazy or weird about this. Now, Mark Silver saying, just be glad he doesn't have a black and white analog TV. You joke about this. I was actually looking at, okay, all right. I have a dream of putting together those old record cabinet sound systems that have the 2 speakers built into it, the record player, the AM, FM,
updating the paneling,
updating everything inside of it with new pieces of equipment. There's one, actually, Mark, your last name reminds me of it. Ren Silver, I think is the name of it. WREN Silver. They manufacture new sound cabinets or sound systems like that, where they have Sonos built into it, they have a record player, they have AM, FM, they have all this kind of stuff. Really beautiful systems. I actually got to work on one. I was contracted in to actually repair one of the boards inside of it. When I say repair, I took out the old board, put in the new board, but...
Swap the board.
I swapped the board out. Now, the thing is, though, is that beautiful piece of furniture, but my dream is to actually do something like that with old stuff and bring it up to modern. I think it would be really cool to do that. So... your idea of a black and white screen TV, the old black and white furniture pieces of TV,
do you know how big an LCD you could put in one of those?
Oh, you could put, yeah, well, not very big. It'd be a 32
24
inch.
Yeah, you can't fit there. You can't put a 32 inch.
So the idea, though, is that you leave the black and white because it's black and white because it's so cool, but you do some kind of conversion process to bring it all the way back down to whatever resolution that is. What is it, like 320 or 310 or something like that?
325, but
Something, yeah, exactly. So,
or 385.
Yeah.
We actually had that working at Caffeine originally. Bill had that old tube, that had on the arms, on the yoke. We had one functioning off of the distribution system at Caffeine.
Okay, yeah.
The black and white.
No, not Silvertone. It's Ren Silver, I think is what it's called. Ren Silver. I'll have to look it up again, but really cool stuff. Anyways, so with a setup like this, the way that I have this set up here, it won't quite work. There's a couple ways to go to work with this, right? So specifically using our matrices, we have EDID capabilities.
Yeah, but it's not going to resolve all of this.
It's not. It will help
I know
in
what
situations.
will.
Yeah, so let's say, for instance, out of our DirecTV Genies, 2 of them are 1080, and 1 of them is 4K.
It's for the one 4K channel that shows 1 hour a month of content.
Exactly, yeah. So what you have here then is you have the ability to say, hey, this 4K Genie is actually connected. You are connected to a 4K 30 display.
Well, now that supports HLG also.
It does, and also 4K 30 also supports HLG as well.
But I mean, that Genie.
Yes, correct. Yep. So with that said, what that allows me to do is then say, okay, that TV is 4K, so all my 4K sets can watch that one.
Well, no. Because this one's not going to support HLG.
Ah, yes, you're correct. So these 2 sets here can watch it. Yes, they do, but that is an issue. Even better, I feed one to the DVI HDMI inputs on my 1600 by 900 monitor. Feed it with 1080p. If you're a good boys, I'll tell you how that was solved. The combinations are endless. Where do you connect the Philco Predicta? Philco Predicta?
That's what it was, the Predicta, yeah.
It was a Predicta?
Yeah. And then you had one where they changed out the black and white for a color panel.
Oh, you could actually swap it out and it would be right. Okay, anyway.
Well, we couldn't, but it was done.
Sure. Okay, so.
Now, somebody's doing Philco Predictors with LCDs now.
I'll have to look that up and see what that looks like. Yeah, you pull up a picture. I'll keep doing this. Okay, so now here's a way to fix this. This matrix does not do scaling. Well, pardon me. The 8x8 quick switching does not do scaling. So the CS-88M does not do quick switching. However, the CS-88M HDBTS does do scaling in that the HD-Base-T outputs will take a 4K image and downscale it to 1080p. So that means that your new Apple TV, we can downscale that one to 1080p. The Oppo Blu-ray player, again.
Oh, okay. First off, that Apple TV does not downscale. If it sees anything in the system that's 4K, it's not going down to 1080p unless you completely disconnect that TV from it.
Now, that's the beauty of the Matrix, because at that point, the Matrix is telling the Apple TV what it is.
Okay, but that's if you go back to a 4K.
So what I can do is I can tell this Apple TV that it is connected to 4K. 4K 60, it's connected at a 2.0 spec TV, right? HDR, all that kind of good stuff. Now, what I can do with that, though, is I can put Grandma's 1080p Samsung on an HD-Base-T connection.
Right, and the HD-Base-T can...
And that will downscale it to 1080p. Now
on the HD-Base-T.
Correct. And what I could do is I could do the same thing here. I could do the HD-Base-T on the Samsung, the 4K Samsung. Non-HDR. Right? What'd you find? Did you find it?
You can't.
Oh.
Hey, there you go. Scroll down.
Ooh.
So that is an LED panel put inside of the predicted chassis.
That is great. That's HDMI on that too. He's got a computer put on it. Oh, that's fantastic. And the glass on the front of it makes it morph to the shape. That's great. Okay, very cool. Let's see. 3x4, not 16x9. If they do, it isn't real Predicta. I know someone who's able to feed 1080i to an AA or to a 1952 RCA CT100, the first color TV in the mass market. 1080i. So conversion processes of it, taking it all the way down to 1080 to whatever resolution the CT100 was. I wonder what it was. Something like that.
425.
Super low.
With 385 displayed, 420 lines, I think.
I would be curious to see what that is. Anyways, so what I can do then...
And you know who would know?
setting
Michael
this up-
will know.
Well, he's the one who put it on there. So with this setup here, what we have going on then is I have all these 4K sources and 1080p sources, and I'm telling them, and because of the EDID control built inside of our matrix, I'm telling the 1080p sources that they are connected to a 1080p display.
See, I think you're going about it much harder than I would.
Okay.
I would use our fast switching device unless I needed the HD base T.
Sure.
And then I would use our very reasonably priced 1x2 SPL5 splitter
Yes.
coming out of it into the aberration televisions.
Yes.
And that is a stupid, reliable way.
It works so well. You actually took my idea before I got to it. So yes, you can go through all of this. Well, now here's the benefit. Here's the benefit. 525 line TV.
Okay.
So here's the benefit of this.
Thank you, Michael.
I'm not going through additional HDMI connections.
I get it.
Right?
I get it.
However, you are right. So I've done all of this. And so going through all this here, my Xbox and PlayStation 4 are going to the family room, again, because it's localized and it's gaming. So that's done there. Each display is taken in a Roku Ultra for most of the streaming needs that are required out of all of this. Yes, I know that the LG TV and the 4K Sony are smart TVs.
I'm not a big fan of their user interface.
I just can't. Look, they're wonderful. For my own personal use, no problem, because I know what I'm doing and I can get in there and mess around with it. But
see, I disagree with you.
You actually prefer going a little bit more into
I don't
like the Roku
using
or
the
whatever
internal. I've had the Sony.
Sure.
I've got the LG, and I've got Sony, LG, Samsung, or Sony, LG, Apple TV, Roku, and Amazon.
Yeah.
In my house.
Yeah.
And of all of them, without question, to me, the Roku dashboard.
It's just easy.
It's just the easiest dashboard because you're not stuck with all the ads.
Right.
That's what annoys me on everybody else's dashboard is all that.
Well, and Roku has the ads, but they put them off to the side, right? It's there.
Yeah, it's not in the middle of everything.
Yeah, exactly. Okay.
And the other side, for example, with Amazon, whatever the most recently used app is, it displaces.
Yeah.
So, but
Yeah.
I want things at the same place at the same time every time.
Okay, so like Brent was saying, so I've taken the way that I've done this, it will work. The way that we have it set up here, it'll work fine. HD base T downscaling, HD base T downscaling, full 4K, and in the event of the Xbox Series X, you're going directly to the 8K TV, which has 4K 120, so you don't have to worry about distributing the 8K or the 4K 120 content, which right now you cannot.
At least not for gaming.
That is true. The experts did bring up another good point. The built-in Netflix app on the Sony TV
it's been optimized.
It's been optimized
for the Sony
for better picture, and so that is very true.
However,
yeah,
it is a marginal improvement for the vast majority of people.
Yes. So in those cases, and Michael is making the brilliant point that I'm going to get to at the very end of all of this. So this works out really well. Now, what you can do instead. Whoops. You can grab that for me.
I'm gonna.
Or it's a black. So, whoops. Two of these are still 1080p. One of them is still 4K. Go ahead and get rid of that. This actually stays.
By the way, while he's making this giant mess on the board, a reminder: anybody that's done the new DirecTV stream boxes, please let us know your experiences with them.
Yep. Take this out of that. All that there. Okay. So we still have the same basic setup here.
Same infrastructure.
Same basic infrastructure. However, now what we are doing is at the TV, at specifically these two TVs. Because I'm going to run everything here full outright, full bore, whatever
everything it's got.
Give me everything you've got. Now the Apple TV, the new Apple TV, barring it's, because it still hasn't opened up.
It hasn't opened up to 2.1, right?
It's still on 2.0. But what I'm going to do instead is at this TV here and this TV here, I'm going to put, like you said.
Now, are we still doing? Why would you put it there instead of back in the rack?
I'll tell you why. Because if I put it here, I have all the extra. This run of cabling here will be
Think about what you're doing. Think about what you're about to say.
Okay, so by putting it, I guess you would want to put it at the source side, wouldn't you? Even if you're doing a power assistance situation.
First off, these do not require the juice that
From the HDMI board.
right, that a source does.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I would put them back at the Matrix for a couple of reasons. One, it's easier to control the wiring, the power, and everything else.
Yeah.
Two, that means I can go directly out of it. It becomes the source
Yeah.
to the display.
So back here at the Matrix, and actually you do make a very valid point with that. Thank you for that.
I'm just that kind of
We're
smart.
going to run, you're going to go that far with it. We're going to run, and we're going to install our CS-1X2 HDM
SPL5.
SPL5. And again,
And
I
it's
know
very
that,
reasonably priced.
well, it is, and I know that normally we don't do product, placement stuff on
But
today's
it's critical
episode, but
here.
it works really well because this is actually our splitter scaler. So yes, it is a 1x2. However, you're only using one output. You don't need two outputs. I'm not putting one here and then splitting it out between the two. That would make these have to watch the same content at the same time. We don't want to do
Not doing that.
But the 1x2 HDM SPL5 does have scaling built into it. And actually what's cool about it is it has an
And
auto.
HDR stripping.
No, not.
Yeah,
no.
metadata stripping.
Yes, correct, yeah. So it has auto, which just means that it will work like a traditional, which is more like a traditional style. Splitter. Then we have a, let's see, auto,
Mix.
Mix is actually more like the traditional. So
And copy.
mix, it has mix, auto, which is actually a 4K at 60 HDR EDID information. And then we have copy. All right, so the copy is really what you'll be using in the, no, pardon me, you'll be using auto in this case.
Right, because you don't want to copy. If you did that, you would actually have to go over here to copy that.
Well, and you can't
And then
leave that
put it here.
connected to it because
Right.
as soon as you disconnect it, it loses that thing.
Right.
So you're going to set it to auto, which is a 4K 60 HDR EDID information, and you're going to plug that in here. So the Matrix sees a 4K 60 HDR
Display.
Now in the Matrix, you're also going to tell the sources that are connected to it that they are connected to something that's able to handle the max that they are able to output. Right? We want
Which
the
you do
full
on
board.
the IP setup page.
Yeah, exactly. Once you've done that, now this HDM SPL5 steps in and does the scaling for you. So even
And
though
it's
you're
awesome.
watching the Oppo Blu-ray player, let's set aside Atmos because that's one thing it doesn't do. It doesn't do down mixing, but scaling, it'll take that scaling picture of a 4K signal, HDR, and downscale it to whatever resolution
Again,
you need it to be.
Trying to share a single Blu-ray player amongst multiple rooms.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, you can share the DirecTVs. You can share the SpyClops.
Yeah.
I get that.
Yep.
Sharing any kind of fixed media player,
Yeah.
Blu-ray player like that, unless it's you going from one room to another room to finish the movie in bed.
Yeah. Yep. So there's one final way to do this. And actually, Michael's making a very valid point with all of this, is you will create a more stable system. You won't have the ability to say, start watching the Apple TV in one room and finish watching it somewhere else, or have everything playing on the same screen. However, what you can do in this case is we can get rid of all of this. We can go ahead and say we want a Roku Ultra at this TV, at that TV, at that
Which,
TV, at that TV.
amazingly enough, is what I said.
Yep. We're going to take a DirecTV 4K and put it here. We're going to take a DirecTV 1080p, DirecTV 1080p, and we're going to pick up an extra DirecTV 1080p and put it there.
Now, and this means the drawback to this is you actually have to physically have coax to these locations.
Yeah, well, unless you get into that new DirecTV box.
No,
if it
because you can
does
only have 3 streaming boxes per
at the same time.
at the same time, and we have now 4 TVs.
Well, if they're all being watched at the same time, that's where we run into a problem. And I'm curious to see if that is going to be a real limitation or not.
According to what I've read, and again, guys, please help us, because I've done the apps at the beach house, and it's a limit of 3.
Yeah.
If we can go past that, and I would have to think DirecTV would want to go past that to get more.
Yeah. So then I'm also going to take the Oppo and I'm going to go directly to this room here. Okay.
Not to the family room?
No, because the family room already has an Xbox Series X.
Does the Xbox Series X do Blu-ray HDR disc?
Yes, it
Are
does.
you sure?
100% it does.
Okay, because there have been issues with, was it the PS5 that didn't?
That I don't know, but
'Cause one of the machines
I do know
doesn't.
for a fact that the Xbox Series X does do the Blu-ray player.
Okay.
So
I'm forced to believe you.
yeah, Michael, you make a good point with that one. Or drop DirecTV and get Xfinity or Spectrum, where there is no limitation on the number of devices that you can have working with the app.
Well, now here's the other side of it. Just my understanding is on the streaming, you don't get the football package.
I know.
And what's the only reason to have DirecTV?
Is the football package.
Is the football
Well,
package.
that's one of the big ones. So.
And they're losing it, I think, in a year anyway.
Well, and potentially going to Apple is what I've heard.
Really?
Yeah. Wouldn't that be
Now,
interesting?
I was under the impression it might go to NFL. To the NFL app.
To just the app or whatever for it. So.
And I can't imagine NFL limiting it to anybody.
Yeah.
They want the money.
Good point, Gabs. Gabs is asking for the DirecTV, is it 3 genies plus the main server for it?
No, it's on streaming.
Well,
no, it's on streaming.
Yeah, no. So we're talking here specifically. So if we did, oh, wait a minute. Oh, 3, yeah, are you talking, actually, Gabs, let me know, are you talking about the 3 streaming boxes plus the main box? Or are you talking where
No,
you've
I've
got
done
the
that,
3
for
genies?
example, at the beach house.
Yeah.
We've got satellite receivers plus the streaming.
Yeah.
But it's only 3 streaming. You can do as much as you want on the hardwire because you pay extra per box.
Sure, yeah.
You know, depending on your dish and your, and what is their splitter, the swim.
Yeah.
Depending on your swim arrangement, you can, have stacks of receivers.
Yeah.
But as far as streaming, they only allow 3 streaming devices simultaneously.
Right. So this is how I have it laid out because we've got this Xbox Series X, the PS4, and the new Apple TV. I'm going to go ahead and put that here with this one. We've got a Roku Ultra and DirecTV 4K. Now we're running out of inputs on this TV, I think. But if we're running it through an AVR of some kind, they're local to the TV, then you aren't running out of sources. You've got enough inputs at that point to do whatever you want to.
And we're going to step out of our sandbox a second, because D&M has a great way to handle multiple 8K inputs now.
Yeah, that new add-on box that they have.
Which is, honestly, that's one of the smartest ideas I've ever seen.
Well, it works with, they give you a list of which models it works with.
Which AVRs.
It's some of the older AVRs
Right.
also. Not older,
last 2 to 3 years.
Yeah.
Because you can have 2 to 3 8K inputs. You plug that into the AVR's output with eARC. So you still have all your stuff connected to the AVR.
Yep.
That goes forward its output into this switch and then out to the TV.
Yeah.
And then all of the 8K sources are eARC'd back into the AVR.
Right.
So you're not completely rewiring the rack and replacing an expensive AVR. It really is one of the smartest answers I've seen to the going forward situation.
Now, the last thing here is we do have the Spy Clubs in VR, and we're going to make the assumption that everyone wants to be able to watch the Spy Clubs in VR. So we're going to go out HDMI into our CS-1X4
SPL5. And then fiber it out.
And then just go out to whatever sources it needs to go out to at that point. Like so. And that will do all of the scaling necessary for the 1080p, the 4K, and the 8K. Well, it won't upscale for the 8K, but the LG 8K can accept a 4K signal,
Of course it can.
So, because again, with the NVR, we're not doing HDR surveillance, we're just doing video. We're just at that point. So we're not doing anything super extra or anything like that.
Can I go ahead and switch this back to main screen? Are you done drawing?
Is it only for the HDMI 2.1 AVRs? For some reason, I remember it being for the other ones.
Yeah, I thought it was for the no. I was under the impression it's for any with eARC.
Any with contact your D&M rep and find out for sure. Don't trust us with that one. That's not our product. Okay.
Call Philip Jones.
Yeah, call Philip Jones. All right, let's go ahead and switch this back over to our main screen. So everybody, let me know what you've done differently or how you would handle things differently. And everyone who has commented over in the chat, thank you so much for doing so.
And a lot of it today, thank you.
Yeah, really good stuff. And also, don't forget that competition is still going on. Go on to Instagram, take a picture of the rack that you've done that you're really proud of. Go ahead and post it with that hashtag. Hashtag show us your AV rack. Make sure you follow True Audio. It's at True Audio Speakers, and then follow Metra AV, so at Metra AV. Do us a favor, follow us here at AV Tech Tips as well.
Don't forget to subscribe to us and click the bell. And
my laptop
went to sleep, didn't it?
It just went to sleep. Yep. wake it back up again. So yeah, like, share, subscribe, hit that little bell notification to let you know whenever we do go live, which of course is every Wednesday and
Friday at 3 p.m.
At 3 p.m.
And next week we have...
the experts made a good point. They have a client with 27 TVs. So in a case where you need a matrix system like that, or in a case with that many TVs, a matrix system is almost necessary.
That's a big matrix.
It's a very large matrix. I mean, technically you could do individual sources at the TVs in that case. However, your network traffic dramatically increases.
Think of that many.
That's pretty cool. Let's see. Huh, interesting. So with that, Gabs is saying that there's they've seen have we seen the launch of Sky Glass, Sky being that UK based satellite service,
right?
They have a new box over there that apparently is a 4K HDR with the streaming box built in.
Sky Glass?
Wait, is it an actual TV? Interesting. Let us know. So anyways, let us know how you would have designed this system, how you would have done it differently. Let me know it by email. You can, of course, give us a call here. 386-492-8584 is our tech support line. We're always happy to chat about this stuff.
Destroyed the billion-dollar.
What are you doing?
I hit YouTube, sorry.
What are you doing?
I was looking at Spy Glass.
I don't know what you're doing over there. Okay. Sky Glass.
Sky Glass, yeah, Sky Glass.
Yeah. Anyways, so everyone who has come into the chat, thank you so much. As always, it's always great hearing from everybody over in the chat for that. And come back this Friday, where I believe we will be talking about
the SPL5 splitters.
Probably the SPL5 splitters, because they're just so fantastic.
And they solve so many problems.
They really do. Yeah, the ability for them to scale, as well as having an EDID control built into it as well, or a slight EDID control, copy abilities anyways.
Next Wednesday is?
Next Wednesday is, you would ask that question when I'm not prepared for it. Next Wednesday, I believe we have... Hit this button here. It's our DAC and audio to digital converters.
Oh,
yeah,
I like those.
About how those work, yeah. Whoops. Hit the wrong button here. Let's get back over here to our actual live video that we have going on right now.
I did talk to Mer.
Who?
Miranda.
Oh, good. Okay.
So we're good.
Are they up for it? Okay. So everyone, thank you so much for checking out today's episode. Come back Friday where we'll talk about our SPL5 splitter scaler. So it's a really cool product on that.
Next week is on audio DACs and other audio-related devices.
Yeah, well, it's converters. So analog to digital and digital to analog. We're going to talk about those converters, how they operate, why you want one, what you want to look for in one.
Do we talk about ABOs at the same time?
Maybe a little bit. Because they
kind of fall, yes, they fall into that.
And there's a DAC in more devices than you realize. In your everyday life, there is a DAC in your pocket. Yep. So everyone, thank you for checking it out. Gab says it's built into a TV, so it's like a Roku TV, but now it's their satellite service is also built into it, and it's got the streaming box and stuff. Really cool, game changer.
Well, DirecTV actually, LG or Samsung, I think it was LG, actually had a DirecTV. No, Sony.
Yeah, they had the tuner.
Had the tuner built in for a little while and didn't sell enough to matter.
Well, you had to have the card and you had to have everything. Yeah, it didn't work out all that great. So, anyways, all that to say, everybody, thank you so much for checking in with us today. Come back next week and come back this Friday, and of course,
don't forget to send us your photos. Yep. Don't forget to let us know if you've had any interface with the new DirecTV stream. We really want to know this.
Yeah, yeah.
Friday we'll be here. Wednesday we'll be here. Next Friday I'm traveling, so you're on your own.
Yep, and I think the Wednesday after that, I think I'm on my own as well.
Well, no, I'm going to zoom in or whatever it is we do.
Yeah. It'll be
in LA.
It'll be an episode on SDI.
Oh, and I love SDI.
Yeah, that one's going to be fun. So,
by the way, whoever's in Los Angeles, drop me a line, let me know, and we'll get together for a meal. I'm there from the 21st through the 2nd.
Yes. Yeah, you'll be out there for a while. You'll be out there for Halloween.
Yes, I will.
Yeah.
I love LA for Halloween.
All right. Everybody, thank you so much. We'll check in with you next time. Brent, sign us off.
Reboot early.
Reboot often.
Don't cut your wires too short.
Turn off CEC.
Call tech support, and have a great day.
We'll see y'all next time. Thanks, everybody. Yeah. Should we do the news sign off where we just talk to each other silently? I'm still on. You're off.
Well, I turned myself off because I generally say things I wish I hadn't said.